Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the very first installment of Tuesday Night Live with Pastor Roy. You know what? If you don't know what Tuesday Night Live is all about, we will basically every Tuesday, we want to come to your home and bring something that is so relevant, something that answers every single day questions, especially during this COVID-19 situation. And we want to package it in a way that is very clear, simple, fun, and also practical way possible, applying both faith and wisdom in our daily life. You know, we're going to talk about a real topic like we're going to talk about money. It's all about money, money, money. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about career. We're going to talk about business, and we talk about relationship. Yeah, relationship. Right now, a lot of people says, "Why are you talking about relationships? Talk about money, man." Let me tell you, this pressure is not just about money. But pressure is between our husband and wife. We talk about your relationship with your girlfriend or boyfriend. So we're going to talk about all that, right? How many of you are excited about that? Come on, somebody. You know, as you probably know that we can not do this in a most effective way during Sunday setting. So literally this whole situation of lockdown is a blessing in disguise because it's pressure us to innovate, pressure us to do better, pressure us to think outside the box. And where everybody's in lockdown, the Church of God is being unleashed to everywhere, okay? So this content, the whole content is for free. There is no bait, no nothing, just for free for you, for all our members and all their friends, so that they can be blessed and be strengthened and encouraged, especially during this COVID-19 situation. But I do have one favor to ask. If you are blessed by this content, please like our website in our movementchurch.co, in Facebook, in Instagram, and also in our podcast. Yes, I came here to announce to you that the Movement Church is launching a brand new podcast for content like this, bite-sized content that you can listen to it again on the way to work, on the way back to home, when you commute, before you sleep and things like that, so that the voice of the Word of God, the voice of faith, and the voice of wisdom continue protecting your heart and enlarging your mind and enlarging your life, okay? All right, how many of you are ready? I'm ready for this, okay? So today in this section, I'm going to speak to you about a topic, what to do in recession. What to do in recession. You know, today we want to focus on how to best prepare ourselves financially in the times of recession. Here, guys, I'm not by any chance declaring or decreeing that, you know, recession is about to come and things like that. But you know what? Applying faith and wisdom is needed in this kind of situation in our life. You know, first I want to address this question of what is recession? What is the definition of recession? In recession, in the economic terms, a recession is a business cycle contraction where there is a general decline in the economic activities. Recession generally occurs when there is a widespread of drop in spending. You know, an adverse demand shock. There is a shock in the market, and which we are experiencing right now. You know, you go in Centrelink, the lines are just like a war state line. People are losing job left, right, and center. And there are so many experts are saying that Australia economic recession is happening. It's not a matter of whether it's happening, it's a matter of time. Okay? So as a people of faith, we're believing that that's not going to happen. But as a people of wisdom, we got to prepare. You know, people of fear panics and reacts. But people of faith, we prepare and we respond. Come on, somebody. Okay? So the question is, how do we prepare for it, right? Okay, so before we start, I just want to explain the heart and who we are. You know, the last 8 years being, before I became a pastor, I was the sales director of global property developer in Sydney, okay? And that gave me a chance to teach, to train, to conduct, and also to be investors, property investors myself, to teach, train, and conduct seminars about how to build wealth through properties, or how to manage your money and things like that. But you know what? The real goal or the real value that I got for the last 8 years is not the seminars, it's not, that's amazing. But the last 8 years, I've been able to meet with these hundreds of highly successful people, highly successful people. You just put it this way: you need to be really, really rich to be able to buy 3 to 5 investment property in one day. You know what I mean? So I got the chance to meet these people, and every time I meet them, I just have one question: what is your end game? Why are you doing this? And how are you going to protect yourself if this thing is happening? So through this segment, also in the next segment, I want to share with you what I have. Simple as that. I just want to help, and I'll just share what I have. And I just want to note and clearly state that this is not a professional financial advice. You should consult your own financial advisor for your own individual circumstances. All right? Okay, so with all that said, let's dig into the content. Okay, how to best prepare yourself and your family financially in times of recession. Okay, I'm gonna start with the most basic but the most powerful thing that there is. Okay, my financial mentor teach me this, and I want to share it with you. My number one point is get on a budget. Get on a budget. Think about it. This is the most basic, but often people don't do it because it's too simple. It is too simple. I remember one day I was having coffee with a good friend of mine, and he was telling me about that he cannot save money. He was quite struggling. I don't know where the money goes and things like that. And then I asked a simple question: do you have a budget? And then you know what he said? Yeah, I think I've got a budget. I know roughly. And I said, okay, how much is your weekly expenses? And then he said, around $2,000, okay? And that's where I know that he doesn't have any budget. He knows roughly, but budgeting is not a rough thing. Budget is literally a science. Budget is not an art. Budget is science, whether you have it or you don't, okay? Now, and I explained the way I do my budgeting, the fact that I actually put it to the cents. They are actually, and I encourage him, come on, man, why don't you do it tonight? Now, thank God that he actually took the advice and he did it. Okay, he didn't actually sleep well at that night because he actually did the whole budgeting. And the next day he came to me, pale, and he said, Roy, I am 1,500 on negative every single month. That's what budgeting does to you. Sometimes it will encourage you, but most time it will shock you. You know why? Because he realized that he couldn't afford the second car. He couldn't afford the eating out. He couldn't afford buying new clothes every single time. He couldn't afford any of that because he is already on negative. So you know what? Praise God. You know what he did? He basically made a lot of adjustment in 1 week. He cut the car, he sell his second car, he basically put his kids in public school, and it's great. Now, I just called him earlier today, and then he said, man, I thank God for that conversations in the office, because without it, right now, I'll be screwed. Okay? It's, the good thing about budgeting actually showing to us what we can afford and what we cannot afford. It actually shifts all our priorities. All of a sudden, I don't need this. I don't need this watch. I don't need this, that. I don't need that. Because budgeting is a science. Budgeting will strip all this ego thing and go back to the basic of controlling and mastering your money. In a soaring financial state, most people, you don't need to do budgeting. Okay? Why? Because you have surplus of supply. You've got surplus of money, abundant supply of money. But in times like this, there is no better time for you and your family to get into a budget. Budget is probably the very thing that can save your life and can strengthen you through this tough time, difficult times, or uncertain time. Or maybe you actually have done your budgeting and it's time for you to revisit your budget with your spouse. Okay? Let me tell you what the power of budgeting. Budget actually puts you in charge of your money. Okay? Budget, if you think about it, it gives you power to tell every single dollar that you earn, where to go before the months begin. Okay? If you don't master your money will master you. Okay? And without a budget, you will always live on the leftover. You spend. And then when it comes to investing, when it comes to your future, when it comes to building your house on the rock, you're actually building it in the leftovers. Okay? Life without a budget is like carrying a container of water that is leaking and you don't know where the water goes. Actually leaks everywhere. Point number 2. Okay? So in this next segment, I'm going to show you how my budgeting tools look like. Okay? So here you go. We're going to make this tool available for you for free in this website. Okay? There are a lot of budgeting tools everywhere on the internet, but this is the way I do it in the last 15 years. Okay? So we're going to make it available for you. We're going to put it in our website, themovementchurch.co, and then at no cost, you can basically download them and start doing it. Now, we've been teaching this to our members. We've got probably about 500 to 600 members around the globe right now, and we've been teaching this to all of them. And I've heard so many testimonies how this budgeting thing is so simple, but people often forget. Why? Because it's too simple, right? Now, I'm going to explain to you. Now, on the left side, left-hand side, you can see that it's the income. So you put your income, okay? Obviously, this number is not the real number of my family, okay? But it's not far. It's basically there, okay? So on the left side is basically my salary and my wife's salary. I put it right there. Now, this is not before tax. This is after tax. This is the amount of cash that it comes every single month, okay? So this is monthly budget sheet, okay? Now, as you can probably see, that we teach our sons and daughters, our church and our family, and we practice it ourselves. Number 1 is you prioritize God, okay? On the right-hand side is God. As you can see, that we need to always put God first, because everything that we have is from Him. Okay, so the first one is 10% tithing. I've been doing it since I was junior high. Okay, so 10% tithing, and then a lot of people actually pretty shocked with this. But as a family, we also apply 10% offering. Okay, so we teach our people and leaders to be generous. Okay, because I'm doing it as well. All right, and the Bible says that the world of the generous is getting bigger and larger, and the word of the stingy is getting smaller and smaller. So we teach our people, our leaders, to be intentional about generosity. I'm going to repeat that again, okay? We also teach our people and leaders to be intentional, not impulsive, but intentional about our giving. You know, in our church, the Movement Church, when we talk about offering, a lot of our people are generous, but they don't have budget, so they are over generous at the expense of their family. But some of you, you're not generous at all. So I'm teaching you to be intentional in your generosity. Okay, in our family right now, last year, we give 10% tithing, we give 32% offering, and then we have 45% saving. Okay, so right now we start with 10, 10, 20. We have 10% offering, 10% tithing, 10% offering, and 20% saving at bare minimum first. Okay, but you grow. As I said, I'm growing in terms of my generosity, but I also growing in terms of my saving as well. But let's go back. So 10% tithing and 10% offering. Okay. Now, 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7 says that you must what? Decide. Everybody shout decide. You must each decide in your heart how much to give. You got to plan it before the month begin. We plan before the year begin. We plan that we want to give 10% offering, and don't give reluctantly on response of pressure. So the Bible is very, very practical. Don't give reluctantly. If you don't want to give, don't give. You know, there is no hard and set rule that you have to give 10%. You want to give 1%, it's up to you. You don't want to give, it's really up to you. But you know what? I want to encourage you to be generous. You know why? You're going to be blessed by it. Okay? My life is blessed. Our family is blessed because we practice an intentional generosity. Okay? And therefore, God loves a person who gives cheerfully. So you see, the Bible teaches us to decide in advance how much we give. But a lot of us never done that. We just give when we feel like it. Without realizing it, we may not be as generous, but at the same time, we may be too generous and then at the expense of a family. So get on a budget, man. Get on a budget and be intentional in your giving. Okay? Now, there is no hard set rules in offering, but I will encourage you to start with 10%. Now, listen to this carefully, okay? Before you log out about this, listen to this. Please note that this 10% offering doesn't mean you need to put that in the offering bucket of a church, okay? Tithing, yes, you do in your home church, but offering, no. Offering is just being generous. You can be generous to a poor. You have to be generous to the other member. If, for example, you're a Connect Group pastor and you want to be generous, you want to cook food and things like that, you take that from your offering basket, offering budget, okay? So if, for example, with Fridays, for example, there is people in their Connect Group who lost their job, and they want to give. How can you give if you don't have budget for it, okay? So you budget for it and say, okay, I've got budget for it. This is for you. Right? This is awesome. Now, as a family, we've done tithing and offering in the last 8 years, where we have 8 years where we have $500,000 a year as a sales director. We've been faithful in that. And right now, as a salary of a pastor, okay, 80% cut, we're also faithful in our tithing and giving. And God has been blessing our life. When we put God first, God will take care of the rest, okay? Now, that is number one, God. So number two is basically the living expenses. Now this is where it gets getting fun, right? Now living expenses, basically, okay, there is that variable expenses. Let's leave that for a moment because that's probably one of the most complex things in this one. But we're going to go back to that soon, okay? But the rest are the fixed expenses. These are the expenses that always come into your door, the bill that comes into your door every single month, okay? So the first one is education, okay? Your child education, and also number two is insurance, your life insurance, your health insurance. You have to have that, right? For rainy days, you never know what is going to happen in the future. Storm will come, but whether or not you're going to prepare for it, okay? Education, insurances, and then the third one is accommodation. Okay, accommodation is your rental, your electricity, your gardening and things like that. So all that into accommodation. The fourth one is basically transportation. Okay, so transportation is your car, your petrol. Majority of the time is fixed. It's variable, but on average it's the same every single week. Okay. Now number five is basically investment portfolio. Now. My own investment portfolio right now is just basically $59 a week. So with all the tax benefit, we're already in positively geared. So yes, I'm going to teach that in the couple of next session, that we want to teach you not to be too stretching, too ambitious about your property investment. Just make sure that you don't need a lot of cash flow to sustain this property investment. So in times like this, it doesn't really matter. You've already managed your risk, okay? So that's self-explanatory. If you have any question, I'm going to do some sort of question and answer in my Instagram in the next couple of days. You're welcome to ask that question, okay? But I hope that's self-explanatory. Now, I want you to note a couple of things. The first one is that, have a look at it. Have a look at the number. We do it to the cents. Yeah, as you can see, there is 76 cents there, 90 cents there, and things like that. You know why? Because I don't believe in, the electricity bill is around. No, I don't believe that. So what we did as a family is actually I asked Chess, give me 3 to 6 months bill, and I'm going to average it, or even 12 months bill, and I'm gonna average it per month, okay? And then I'm gonna bump probably about 5% to it, just bump it a little bit, but I'm doing it like a science, okay? Now, as you probably know, during winter, we pay a lot more bills because of the heating and things like that. That's why you need to average it every single year. Okay, every single month. Okay, now we do it to the cents. I want to encourage you, do it to the cents. Okay, don't do it around. Yes, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of work to set it up, and after that, everything is okay. All right. Now the second one that I want you to focus on, and this is good, is the saving number per month. Okay, I call this number my saving rate. Okay, so in that point is 1,562 a month. Okay, now just to clarify, this is not our real data. We don't have rental costs. You probably, some of you got rental costs. You know, our house is already paid off by the grace of God. You know, because why? Because we apply this tithing, offering, saving. We apply this like a military in the last 10 to 15 years. Saving, sowing, and tithing, and God bless us. You know, we apply this principle, and we are where we are today. We can live the lifestyle we have today is because we apply those principles. Okay, so but let's say that is the real number, your monthly number that you save, $1,562 a month. Okay, the principle is the same. Now have a look at that number, and if your number is the same or different, just have a look at that number, and then because this and remember that number. You know why? Because this will help you becoming a wiser spender and wiser investor in the future. Let me explain why. Okay, I'll give you a tip. I always convert all my spending, holiday spending, if I want to be hobby spending, if I want to buy bike or guitar or holiday, I always relate it back to this number, 1,500. Okay, let me give you an example. My tip is always convert this number or your spending number into a time, from currency to a time. Now, hear me out. Okay, for example, let's say your number is exactly the same, $1,562. Okay, so every time you want to buy a new bag that costs you $3,000, that cost is not just $3,000, but that cost is literally, it's 2 months. It will cost you 2 months delay to your financial goal. Okay, you want to have a goal. I want to have property by the age of 35. I'm 35 years old. Well, if I buy this bag, am I happy with 2 months delay? Okay, now and then sometimes okay. So I'm not teaching you to don't spend at all. You know, you spend, but as a family, husband and wife, we happy for that 2 months delay. For example, if we want to go to Europe for a holiday, okay, because Instagram, oh my God, this guy goes here, this guys go here, I need to go there, come on, oh man, I don't want to be stuck with this, you know, I want to go, you know, after this coronavirus, I'm going to go, and then I'm going to go to Italy. Now, this usually costs husband and wife, 2 people, $15,000. Instead of $15,000 only, you convert it into time. It will be a 10 to 12 months delay, 1 year delay to your financial goal. And usually, give them time, okay? Usually, this will help you prioritize your spending. This will help you become a wiser spender and said, maybe not now. Maybe that's not wise for my family. As I said earlier, we're going to come back to the variable expenses. So let's go back to the variable expenses. Variable expenses, self-explanatory, is all the expenses that are not fixed. Okay? So after you cut the education, transportation, accommodation, and things like that, the variable expenses are the things like your grocery shopping, okay? Your shoes, you eating out, your haircut, your toothpaste, your car wash, your butt wax, whatever, man, anything, you know. Now, maybe you ask me, how do you come up with $2,384? Let me tell you, that's our number. Every single month, that's our number. How do you come up with that? Well, trial and error. Okay, so that is a gauge for you and me. Okay, I've got 3 kids, young kids, and they're all going to school, and some of them is actually going to childcare and things like that, which costs a lot. So, but that's our number, $550 a week. Okay, so that is my number as a family. It's quite tight, but I'm happy because why? Because I have a financial goal and I want to go somewhere, and then I've discussed it with my wife. You know, it's a 6 months process. My wife says, oh, I need more money, and I said, no, okay, all right, we fight, but it's okay, it's cool. And then we finally get into that number of $550. Okay, so we know, and we know with that number, if I stick with that number, we know by the time we retire, our kids' fund are covered. Some of our investment properties will be paid off, and we can serve God more. Okay, so that's faith and wisdom. Come on, somebody. So I want to encourage you to do the same. Okay, so all the fix, just sort that out first. Okay, so that you can focus on that one number, and that one number is that variable, that $550 a week. That's my number. If you can go it down to 300, go for it, man. But you guard that number like there is no tomorrow. Okay, now I'm going to teach you, I'm going to show you how I'm going to guard this. Okay, now a lot of people finish here. A lot of people says, okay, I know how to do the budgeting, see you later. And then they do the budgeting, and then 3 years later or 2 years down the track, you come back to me and say, it doesn't work, Pastor. It doesn't work, Pastor Roy. Now, I'm going to show you what happened to my life, in the first 5 years of my financial learning curve. Same thing. I could not save. I said, I've already got a budget, but I still can't save. What's going on, right? Let me tell you what's going on. One word, leak. Okay? There is a leak and we don't even know it. Okay? The leak in our habits, the leak in our money spending habits, that is a leak, right? And we don't even know it. So I'm going to close with this. I'm going to close this segment with this one, which is close that leak. I'm going to give you a story. When it comes to fixing my house with being handyman, I am not the best, right? So one day there is a leak in my tap, just dripping, and I said, it's all right, it's okay, it's just a leak, it's all right, okay? And then Pastor Jess has already kept saying to me, come on, go to Bunnings, $2.50, come on, and spend time and fix it. I said, nah, it's just water, sorry, it's just a leak, don't worry about it, right? I'm not fixing it until 3 months. Wow. After 3 months, you know what happened? I kept saying to Jess, oh, it's too difficult. I've got no time. Oh, I'm so busy with preparing preaching and things like that. But 3 months later, the bill came. And the bill of my water is $800. Okay? $800. I was shocked of unbelief. I've never seen a water bill of $800. You know what happened? 3 months of I'm busy, blah, 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 blah. Within 45 minutes, that leak is finished. That leak is closed. Now the principle is the same with your finance. That leak is so dangerous. Why? Because it looks small. It looks so small that you don't realize it, but it's leaking every single way, okay? Now, my question is to you right now, and you're financially, what is your leak, okay? Let me tell you, majority of the time, this is your leak. An unused Netflix, an Apple account looks very small, okay? But it's gonna cost you $336 a year. You can sponsor one kid in Manila for 1 year education with $336. Your coffee a day, your oversized and overpriced caffeine injection every day looks very small, only $4, $4.50, $5 now. It's gonna cost you $1,460 a year. That is a 2 return ticket to Singapore, to Indonesia, wherever you come from, 2 return ticket to invest with your wife and with your honeymoon, things like that. It's not small. It looks small, but it's not small at all. An unused F45 gym membership looks very small, but it will cost you $2,080. You know what happened when I realized this? I bought all my gym equipment at home. Hey, there's no embarrassment on that. Yep, a global sales director of a property developer. I don't go to the gym. Why? I'm motivated enough to go to the gym in my own house. Come on, man. My body's not that bad. Come on, somebody. Right? So, Let's go back, right? Fix the leak. If you have the same problem like me, that you can never save, then fix the leak now, okay? So, and one day I found this system, very simple system. Very simple Excel, which is daily monitoring system. Again, we're gonna make this available for you for free in our website, okay? As a sign of our love to you. So for free on our website. Now, I'm gonna show it to you. Now, as you can see here, I have a daily monitoring system, very simple. It's just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's every single day. Now, and the very last thing we did before we go to sleep as a family is that we put all our expenditure into this simple tool, okay? I usually put this monitoring system for every item. Coffee, $4.50. Oh man, I'm gonna close the leak. You know what I mean? But it's too consuming, time consuming. So what I did was very, very simple. So I'm very forgetful. So I use my card to pay for everything now. I just put a card and things like that. And every night, I just open that statement and I just sum the total amount of expenditure on that day. Very, very simple, right? So you think you can do that? Come on, somebody, for your future, you better do it, right? The last thing we did before we go to sleep is that we put in the tools. And if you use credit card, like me, I actually use my credit card, but I don't have any debt at all. I pay all my debt, my daily debt, daily. So if I spend $74, I send $70 on that day, okay? So I only use that credit card, not for debt. I use my credit card for administration, okay? I have zero debt in my house and on my credit card at all, okay? We'll talk about debt later on, all right? We'll talk about investment later on, okay? So that's it. First, get on budget. Second one, close that leak, close that tap, all right? So I hope you're blessed. If you are, do me one favor, okay? Share this content, tell your friend about this content, tell the world that we care. And also, if you have any question, I'm running this Instagram and Facebook question and answer. If you can ask any question that you may have, and I'll answer it to the best of our ability. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to share what we have, okay? Now, it's time for you to do it. Everybody should do it. Come on, do it. Master your money before it masters you. Don't procrastinate. Do it tonight. It will shock you. It will help you. It will strengthen you. God bless you. We love you.